I'm back. It's your girl, Aisha. And as you can tell by the title, yes, I talk with my hands. Anyways, as you can tell by the title, I'm about to do a 2019 recap.
Go to work. Go to work.
So, yes, I have some questions on my iPad. I'm just doing by question base because I just didn't want to ramble. I kind of wanted like a. The first question says, "What were your top accomplishments this year?" 2019 is December. Well, I graduated December 14th, 2019. That's one of my major accomplishments. Next question. What is something that you did this year that you think you will remember for the rest of your life? Two things that I did this year that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I lied. Three things. I watched my nephew. I seen my nephew come out. I don't know how else I was gonna put that. I was there at my nephew's birth. I was there. That's one thing I will always remember for the rest of my life. Just seeing him fresh out. But the second thing would have to be that I will always remember. This is really hard. Thinking of all these questions for the whole year, I should have wrote it down. That's what I should have did. But I'm coming fresh off the top of the brain. So, like I said, my nephew being born. Second thing, of course, graduating, but I already said that already. Trying to think of other things that I won't forget. Starting a YouTube channel. Going to Miami for a whole week. What was the most challenging part of this year for you? The most challenging part of this year, honestly, would have to be the last 2 months of the year, November and December. That would have to be the most challenging. Just dealing with different situations, graduation, trying to decide where, trying to decide what's the next step of my life, really. Yeah. What are three most important things you have learned this year? Three most important things that I've learned this year is take a break. Breathe. Like, seriously. With school, work, life, college, organizations, you have to really take a break and breathe. The second thing I learned is to love yourself. Regardless of anything that goes on, you must love yourself. Put your hand on your heart.
Baby girl, that's your chest, not your heart.
Put your hand on your head and say, I love myself. The third thing that I learned this year would have to be your timeline is not God's timeline. Period. That's it. Your timeline is not God's timeline. The plan that you have set forth and the amount of time that you want to graduate college, the time that you want to get this job and do this, is maybe not the same thing that God has planned for you. And I just had to realize that, like, this ain't that. In what area do you feel you made your biggest improvements? I would have to say major improvements. Major improvements. Me? Does that answer the question? In what area do you feel you made your biggest improvements? The area of Aisha Johnson? Aisha Natajé Johnson? Knowing what you know now, if you could write a letter to yourself that would travel back in time so that you would receive it at the start of this year, what advice would you give yourself? To listen to the advice that has been given to you? Listen to the advice that has been given to you. Follow through with what you say. Period, point blank. I wouldn't really change anything about this year because I feel like it was an experience and it was also a lesson. But in all those experiences and situations, the answer was already brought to me. Or how do I put this in words? The advice, you know how you get in a situation, you ask somebody for advice. The advice was already handed to me at the beginning of the year. Make time for yourself. Don't worry about anyone else. This is your year. Why can't I just listen? Why can't I just enjoy myself, love myself, make time for myself? But I'm here. What advice would you give students for the next semester? I would definitely tell the seniors that are graduated in May, don't stress. Do not procrastinate. Live and enjoy your life. Get in the library, get those books, but also enjoy your life. Do not spend your last semester on crunch time. No. And for the people that are not graduating, you know, your freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, stay on your A game. Stay on top of your school and your life. Your mental health, anything, your physical health, your spiritual health, everything. Like, stay on top of it. God has a plan for each and every one of us. Like, for real, the advice that I can give you is really stay on top of your game. I keep saying a big mistake that I made this year in the lesson that I learned as a result was let me talk to y'all. Thank you. Let me talk to y'all. Do not rush any type of relationship. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We get in these, like I mentioned before, these timelines. We get in these different situations, and we're like, yeah. And it's like, no, don't rush anything. You don't want to rush work in life. This is really a lesson for life. Don't rush anything in life. Anything I learned from 2019 is don't rush it. Live your life day by day. Set goals for yourself by all means. Reach those goals. Exceed those goals. Don't rush the goals. Patience is of a virtue. Patience is where it's at. Like, really. Like, you can save yourself from so much different problems and situations and negativity if you have patience and not rushing anything. Don't force anything either. I think that goes hand in hand with rushing. Do not force anything. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it. Next question. My iPad will unlock. This year, I learned the following about myself. This year, I really learned about myself. I learned that, I want to say this year, it's like every year, I just keep repeating. But I really learned how to separate caring for others more than yourself. How to separate, put a limit on it. I have really care for people. Like, I really do. I really care for people. I love people. I really do. I want the best for people. I will encourage somebody to do anything they put their mind to. But there's a point where you get drained. Let's bring it back. When you put boundaries on how much you care for somebody else versus how much you care for yourself, and really just sit back and take time and really account time for each and every person and yourself, it's best. It's best. Never care about somebody else more than they care about you. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. What I am going to say is, you can't help somebody. That's what I'm gonna say. So, put it in a positive way, because it sounds kind of harsh. But really, you can't help somebody that does not want to be helped. You can't. And if you drain yourself, and physically, mentally, and spiritually drain yourself because of that person, or because of that relationship, or because of that situationship, or just any type of situation you go through in life, you're really hurting yourself. Ultimately hurting yourself. Because you yearn and you really want that person to succeed, and you want that person to do. You can't make somebody do something that they don't want to do at the end of the day. And that's closing. This made me laugh the hardest this year. I laugh a lot. If you know me, I laugh a lot. I really do. Some people think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. But the most funniest thing and the hardest thing that made me laugh this year, I'm gonna have to say that for a story time, because the person that's involved in that has to be here. You know, next video. This was the only time that I was not laughing about the situation until like a week later, when I was telling somebody else about the situation. But in the situation, I was really like not laughing. Like, I didn't find anything humorous about the situation, and everyone around me really thought the situation was just hilarious. Like, I mean, laughing in my face, boo-hoo, crying, hilarious. But like I said, story time. The most fun I had all year, truly and very truly, the most fun I had all year was spring break. Won't forget it. Spring break, Miami, the whole week. Yes, with some of my closest friends. Paid for one party the whole week. Went out every night. It was phenomenal. It was really great. I would really love to do it again. Next video, I'm gonna count how many I do, because it's like on 30. Like, I'm gonna start taking pauses. That's what they tell you when you do a speech. Take a pause and then talk. Get your words together and then talk. Miami was wonderful.
Boy, if you
Not about to play with y'all. I adopted a new positive habit. A habit that I've really adopted this year is when I need like a withdrawal, I delete all my social media apps. When a lot of stuff is going on and you just need an outlet. Like, you really get tired of looking at social media apps. So I delete them. I really do. Most common mental state this year. My most common mental state was stressed. Stressed. Here's how I grew emotionally this year. With my parents being strong, really strong, the most strongest mentally, emotionally, spiritually people I've ever met in my life. I try to portray that, which is a positive thing. I feel like try to be strong, you know, in every situation, and try to be positive. That's how I try to, you know, project myself. But how I grew emotionally this year is to really put that in action. You know, not fall back. Really express my feelings. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. Stay in there. Don't dwell in any type of situation. Don't overthink any type of situation. Pray about it. Give it to God. Express it and move on. It's not to hold anything in. Really talk about it while it's in the air and while it's in front of you. Here's how I grew spiritually this year. God has really blessed me throughout my life. He really has. He really has blessed me throughout my life. This school year, the last 2 months of my life, He's really been right there alongside of me. And how I grew is making that change, to that continual change, to really make Him something really big in my life, put Him first, depend on Him, give situations to Him, and really just trust and have faith in Him. That's how I grew. This year I broke out of my comfort zone by pulling up. I'm gonna just leave it at that. What am I most grateful for this year? This year specifically, I'm always grateful for my family, but this year specifically, I'm grateful for my nephew, Andre. I was born this year in September. And we come to the last question. Yes, here are 3 words that sum up this year. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. Nah, I just play. But really though, those are like 3 words that really sum up 2019 for me. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. I want to thank you guys for watching my video. Thank you guys for being here and engaging in my recap of 2019. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Bless up. And I'll be back.
I'm with you, dog.